What's going on, everybody? Well, woo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to go over Darth Bane and kind of talk about what I think of the character. And I'm actually a lot more excited for Darth Bane than I initially thought I was going to be because he's a GC character. It's not really my cup of tea, but the more I looked at his kit, the more I realized there's a lot of really cool, interesting things you can do with him. Not just running with Sith Eternal, which I actually don't plan on doing at all. So big surprise. But anyways, let's go over his kit. I'm going to kind of talk about a team I've kind of drafted up and some Sith that might actually make his leadership really good. So let's take a look. So I know he just got announced. We haven't even done our first conquest yet, but I kind of just wanted to throw this idea out there of like what his team is going to look like. So I want to go over his leadership and his unique first. We'll go over his basic and special as well. So let's go over the unique first. This is kind of all we're going to be paying attention to. We're not going to look at the rest of it because that is for the rule of two. And okay, so honestly, the rule of two, I'm not going to do the GCOME, so I'm not going to bother reading it. But I do think you can make Lord Vader a possible target instead of C. I actually think C is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with C in the game. I think C's in a really good state where he's at, both for defense and offense. I think he's fine right now. I don't know why they had to create a character just to make us do the same thing that we're already doing. I'm not really so sure because, to me, when I read this for TW offense, I'm like, well, we're already getting 19s or 20s with C already. It's like we're already running C with Set, or we're running him with Watt, or Armorer, or one other Sith. It's like, you know, if they die, we get a 19. If they don't die, you get a 20. It's like we're already doing that. So I don't understand why we have to do this again with another character. Obviously for GC, when you're going in under, you get more banners for not using characters, so I understand that. But let's take a look at this part of his unique real quick. So he gets 20% crit chance, crit damage, and health steal, which is pretty important. Whenever he stays, he stacks max health until the end of the battle. Here's the next part that's really important. Whenever an enemy starts their turn, Bane gets 5 speed until the end of the encounter. Or the end of the battle, of the encounter. That's pretty cool. So that just means he's going to ramp more and more and more, because he does have a pretty slow base speed. I believe he's at 140 when he's at Relic. It's pretty slow. But stacking up to 100 speed, that is something. So let's go over the lead, because I actually am a pretty big fan. I do like this lead because, one, guess what? This lead is live in all game modes. There's no GC OMI that is tying to it, which is kind of cool. So Sith allies gain 30% offense and have 30 speed. Sith allies can't be revived, very similar to C, so, you know, Scion's kind of out of here, I guess. Light side enemies have minus 10 speed, double for Jedi. Okay, so it's not bad. I mean, I don't really care for the minus speed part, but, you know, it does technically make your team a little bit faster, potentially. At the start of the battle, all allies gain defense up, evasion up, and health up for 2 turns. That's also very important. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Next, whenever a Sith ally is defeated, Bane's cooldowns are reset. He recovers 50% health and gains 50% turn meter. This reminds me a lot like General Grievous. This really sounds like Grievous 2.0, which is why I'm so excited for it, because Grievous has been getting beat on TW for quite a bit, also in GC, you know. But if this is the new team that can draw banners or make your opponents bleed banners, I think there's something here. Next, while Bane is active, at the end of his turns, the weakest other Sith ally takes damage equal to 15% of Bane's max health, and Bane gains 5% health for each other Sith ally for the rest of the battle. So, yeah, so it really is Grievous. It really is Grievous, essentially. But let's keep going. The first time each other non-galactic legend Sith ally above 30% health would be reduced to 30% or less health, which is kind of, I don't really like this part, but I get what they're trying to do. They're granted a bonus turn and are defeated at the start of that turn. Then Bane gains 5% max protection, max health, and offense and speed, an additional 5% max health, max protection, and offense, and 5 speed for each relic amplifier level on the defeated Sith ally that defeated Sith ally had. Okay, so let's break that down real quick, because that is a very long run-on sentence. So essentially, you just have to get each Sith ally to 30% health and they're dead. So that effectively makes their health pool a lot smaller when you think about it. So Yeah, this team, it may just blow up in my face. Like, I might not even think this. After I see this team in action, it may not be as great as I am dreaming it to be. But I think, essentially, if you can stall the whole killing your Sith allies until, he gets ramped up enough, I think he can cause your opponent to bleed quite a bit of banners. Let's move on to the basic. Deal physical damage to target enemy and reduce their offense by 20% stacking, and Bane by 20%. And Bane gains 20% offense stacking, which can't be resisted for 2 turns. So that'll help kind of like cushion your your health pool, I guess, because essentially your health pool is only 70%. Because the second you hit the 30, your character's taking a bonus turn dying, and then Bane, absorbs the stats, yada yada. On a critical hit, gain 2 siphon until the end of the encounter. This attack, if this attack defeats an enemy, gain additional 2 siphon. So he's going to be siphoning health, by the way, too. So his health pool should be just getting much bigger, which is kind of cool. It's like Grievous, like I said, it's 2.0 Grievous, I think. If target enemy is above 50% health, this attack will critically hit if able to. If the target is below 50% health, this attack deals 200% more damage. That is kind of nuts. And you have to remember, there's a lot of Sith in this game. Well, not a lot, but there are some Sith in this game that can ignore protection, okay? And they can go right under there to get you to that 50% threshold, which will be kind of cool. Enemies defeated by this attack cannot be revived. That's cool on a basic, honestly. That's actually really, really cool. Okay, so let's go to everything but the GAC part. Dispel all buffs on all enemies twice, and they deal physical damage to all enemies twice, dealing 10% more damage for each buff dispelled, and inflict healing immunity for 2 turns. If the ally in the leader slot is a Sith Eternal Emperor, so we're not doing that. He gains 1 ultimate charge, yada yada yada. Bane. Okay, so that whole last part doesn't apply to what we're doing. This ability has 200% health steal. That's really nice. And it's on a cooldown of 3. And yeah, his Omis aren't specials. That's kind of interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay, Essence of Dominance. Deal physical damage to all enemies based on Bane's max health and increase their cooldowns by 1, which can't be resisted. Bane siphons max health from all enemies, which can't be resisted. Sith allies gain defense, penetration up, health steal up, offense up, and speed up for 2 turns. This is also super, super important because having buffs on our Sith is, like I said, there's a reason you want buffs on Sith. It's really cool. I'm sure some of you guys will probably figure out where I'm going to go with this. And then he gains percentage of Siphon at the end of the counter. Lose that much max health. Yeah, okay, so you guys know how Siphon works. This is our 3rd Siphon character. SLKR Siphons, his mastery, and then what is it? Afro Siphon's potency, and now we got Bane siphoning health. So let's go over the team that I'm thinking for this. Okay, so here's the squad I'm currently thinking about using in terms of like what we have to work with. Obviously, you can throw Darth, Revan, and other much powerful Sith under Bane, and I think they'll be just as good, if not maybe better. But this is just an idea. So I wholeheartedly think Talon belongs here from now on. I honestly think Malgus shouldn't be on defense anymore. Now they have Jedi Knight Cal roaming around out there. Like, Jedi Knight Cal just slaps that entire team. Excuse me. Malgus shouldn't be on defense anymore, in my opinion. And then on top of that, Malak should not be with Malgus. If you're taking Malgus on offense, you don't need Malak anymore. You can sub in Sith Marauder, you could sub in Set. Hell, you can even put in HK if you want. It really doesn't matter. That team is really, really good on offense, and they can kill a lot of things. That being said, where does Malak go? I've always put Malak with C. Malak and C, it's a fantastic combo for defense. Malak really makes C a pain in the ass to kill. So that brings me to this team. I really think Talon is here just to capitalize. I think you should have Talon here to capitalize on speed. So you got 30 speed from Bane, 20 speed from Talon. Vader's giving himself 48 speed. 16 from himself and 8 from each Sith ally. So he's going to be, what is that, like just under 100 speed, plus 100 speed almost. It's 98, I think, if my math is correct. So Vader's going to get 98 speed, which Vader is going to be fast. I mean, he's going to be really, really fast. So I kind of want Vader on this team, guys. I really do. So, like I said, because we have no tank, our opponent has 2 options. They can either go for Bane right away, but by going for Bane, you're not only going to proc the, savior from Talon, but you're also going to provide turn meter to the rest of the team, even though the rest of the team's already going to be extremely fast. When we're going over Bane's kit, we were talking about the importance of having buffs. That's why we have Sith Assassin on the team. I really, really like Sith Assassin. Unfortunately, it's one of those characters that's just never got a unique for some reason. Not sure why. But really fast character, really, and I mean, but not as fast as Vader's going to be. But I really like Sith Assassin going either second or third on this team because you get turn meter based on the number of buffs you have. And since we're already starting with buffs at the start of the battle, I think it's like defense up, evasion up, and one other one. We can really pump out a lot of quick turn meter at the start of the battle. And you might actually be able to loop Vader back around to have a second turn before your opponent even does anything because he's so fast and we're going to be giving him so much turn meter. I believe it's 12% TM. Yeah, 12% turn meter per buff. So it's going to be pretty crazy. And last but certainly not least on this team is Darth Sidious. I'm not sure if this is going to apply to GAC, but I've been trying to find a really, really good home for Sidious and his Omicron because he has a really, really cool Omi, and I think it will work really well here, guys. So the first bit works if you have a full team of Sith. So, but the second part about his cooldowns being reduced, you don't need a full team. You can put that on any team, which is kind of cool. Like, there's 2 separate clauses in there. I've mentioned that in a couple of videos in the past, but for those of you that don't know, the bottom half of his Omi applies to any team he's on. It doesn't have to be a full team of Sith. But because we're in a full team of Sith, we can make ourselves a little bit tankier by having more max health based off his potencies. So you mod him for a crap ton of potency, which he's probably at, 117. You can get him a little bit higher too. But that's going to convert into health, so our team is a little bit tankier on top of, talent adding more health and stats for our team. So why does this team go on defense? Well, like I said, I think it goes on defense because it's going to bleed a lot. Like, the whole premise of the team is you ramp up Bane and he just kills you. He's going to be unkillable. And again, there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, this beats that, that beats that, this team beats that, and I'm like, I get that. That's a problem with the game right now. There are too many teams in the game. That's why I'm like, I'm not super invested in going for Bo right away. But Bane looks pretty cool. Bane looks really cool. I think there's some interesting mechanics there, but yeah, I think it's going to be a really good defensive team. I think it's going to have the potential to bleed a lot of banners. Bane's going to be hitting really, really hard, especially if you have all these characters that, like, Relic 8, Relic 9, anytime they die, Bane's just going to, his stats are going to go crazy, and he's going to just start one-shotting people, I think. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I just want to talk about Bane real quick and kind of give you guys, like, my 2 cents of what I think about him. Like I said, I think he's a really, really cool character. He's not just going to be for GAC, and I also don't think you're going to need his Omis, because, like, everything we just talked about in this video, you can do on defense. You can set this on in GAC on defense, and I think it's really, really cool, obviously with the exception of the Sidious Omi. So maybe you sub Sidious out for somebody else, maybe even set. If you don't want to run a full, like, if you're not using every single character in your roster for every team on defense, which you're not because there's too many characters in the game, you can obviously drop Sidious for Malik even. Oh boy, that'd be something crazy. Malik, I don't know, another tank set. Scion, not really, probably. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave me a like. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. What are your plans for Darth Bane? You guys going to be using the rule of 2, taking him on offense with C to 2-man something, or Lord Vader even, because technically you can use Lord Vader. Or you're going to be setting him on defense, or I guess you could use this on offense. It just doesn't feel safe, because, like, Grievous never felt good on offense, right? Like, the banners you got for Grievous, you always felt bad at the end of the day, because you're just killing your own team. Other than that, guys, take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.